So before I begin, I'm going to simplify my life and get rid of some of these indicators. Simplify this guy to get rid of extra, so we can have a very zoomed in view of the world. I typically leave my danger zones on so that way I can see where my pink line or my black line are crossing, so I can see where if I really need to get out of Dodge, I can do that. So I see the large trend and the small trend. If I'm trading with two bands on, I usually have the triangles on my arbitrage band so I can get the small trend, and I can clearly see, and in the channel on the Slack channel, we can see when these guys cross over because we're getting alerts in our rooms. If you're not currently a member, this is the Arbitrage Ban System. And basically, this is a strategy session to show you how to use the bands. The number one thing that I have to stress about this system, whichever system or time frame you're playing on, make sure you stay on that time frame. Because basically what I may be trading, you may not be trading. So like this long ride up, this happened at roughly 1:30 on the 12th of December. But if I go to the 1 minute chart, and I'm going to go back all the way to the 12th of December, see if we can go that far. It's 19. See if we can see that large jump. Currently, that's 17, so way more. All right, go to, let's see. Minute chart 12, okay. And then I'm going to zoom out so that you guys see what. But it's really long upward trend. This was on a minute chart, so if you were playing, okay. So if you were playing this trend on the minute chart, you had a lot of little ins and outs, but on the 15-minute chart, it was literally just one in and out. Use that chart just so I can use that chart. That way we can see what's happening and see how this long ride up on the 15-minute chart, it was roughly a 2 to 3 hour ride, but on the minute chart, you had many opportunities and many chances to make profit and take profit. I said, must stress, whichever time frame that you're trading on, stick to the time frame that you are trading on, so that way you can get the absolute maximum out of the system. Let's see, someone said something. Not seeing my chat window. Okay. Yes, this is being recorded, and yes, please make sure that all your mics are muted. All right. So we're going to start off with the arbitrage band. I'm going to show you my very, very simple setup first. So we're going to start with just the band, and I'm going to turn on in my invite-only scripts. I'm going to turn on Atlas. So Atlas is typically by default, when it's on, it's set to the arbitrage band. But I always like to see foreshadowing. So in the arbitrage band system, there are basically like sort of like radio frequencies, right? So if I'm set to the arbitrage band, I always want to go to one above. So if I'm set to the apocalypse band, my atlas will always be set one above. So since I'm using the arbitrage band, I'm going to set it to RSI, and we should see that there's another band that's formed around our black line and follows that black line wherever we're going. So we can see when the trend changes. Before it gets all the way over here, we know it's time to go because it turned red literally right here. Make sense? Right? So that's a very...
Hey, Royce, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I need some music, Mike.
All right, let me see. Participants. Wrong way. All right. So, all right. Is that better?
Yes, sir.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Sorry about that. All right. All right. So that's the very first step. So if I'm using the arbitrage band, I literally set my atlas, which is basically everything that I would turn on my band, to be one frequency above where I'm at. So if I'm using the arbitrage band, I would set my atlas to be set to the RSI line, which is that black line in the center of our band, right? By default, we have show higher highs and lower lows on. And basically, people always ask, okay, is now another good time for me to get into the trend, right? So how I play those is if I see a lower low here, I can jump in here. It's right now it's countering the trend, but I also see that my black line is on the edge of the band. So this is an aggressive play if I do this, but I would literally ride from here until I see a higher high. All right, so band's green, I got my arrow, so that means I have all my confirmations now. And with all my confirmations in place, I literally can ride and take profit along the way, and eventually until I get all the way out with all my profit, or I can ride until I see the band turn red again to say, okay, I got to ride this entire thing. Every single time I see a new higher high, we expect a dip. So when we got that higher high, we got 2 candles up down. We got a higher high, 3 to 4 candles down. Higher high, a lot of candles down, right? And once again, if you're playing from the lower lows or higher highs, that's an aggressive entry. This is something I would never, ever, ever do. Ride a lower low off of the top of basically this guy's in the upper danger zone. This being the black line is in the upper danger zone, which means this stock has been going up and it's overbought. If I see a lower low here, there's no way, because the probability of more up is very small because that black line can't leave this gray area, right? And because this black line is what we're trying to use to discern our trend, if it's going too fast or going too slow, there's very little probability of profit when that black line is there, as long as these candles are underneath it. Because basically the candles will try to push up against the line can't go out of bounds, so all you can do is bounce off of that line and go back down, right? So that's a very aggressive play, but this is a very bad place to play an aggressive play. Never ever do a lower low if you see this type of setup where that black line is up there and you're seeing that lower low butted up against the sky. If you're looking for new places to jump in, you can literally ride the next lower low. This is the default, minus the fact that I changed it to the RSI line. I'm going to turn on one more thing for the Atlas, because I want to maybe know every bounce, because you can know every single bounce in this system. It'll actually show if you turn on the last 4 indicators. So if you turn on the last 4, it shows you both higher highs as well as lower highs. So you can say, oh, that could have been an exit too, right? And there's a higher low, you're going to expect to bounce. So literally you're playing off of each one of these if you wanted to do play by play. So lower low, higher low, lower low, higher high, and then lower high, yet things are already red. We should have been gone as soon as we saw this guy went red. Another indication that we should have been gone, if you're trying to make sure that you're getting the absolute most out of the trend, notice those red and blue line. That's our compass and momentum line. Anytime I see that my blue line is underneath my red line and I'm in a long, I will take profit because basically that means the trend is actually changing. I can emphasize this trend if I want to see this more. Apparently, like we see that we're getting reds right here, but if I actually configure my band and actually show candle colors, we can see at the first blue candles, the trend is changing. So before this line even crosses, we can see that things are not going our way. How these candles work are, if you're seeing green candles, you're in our best time to buy window. So that means if you're trying to go long, it's saying that that blue line is crossing over the black line, which creates this triangle. This black line is sitting in the bottom, which means it's oversold. A new uptrend should be beginning. And basically, it's warning you if you hadn't seen, if you're like, okay, is it too late to get in? Nope, these guys are still green. He's still in the danger zone. We still have more up to happen for us. If you miss this and you weren't at your computer and you see, oh, new higher low, sure, you can jump on. Everybody's still good. But if I'm being conservative, I will wait for the blue line to get back above the red, and then I would buy again. That makes sense? All right, let's see. All right. Likewise, if I'm trying to do a sell, if I see pink candles are the opposite of these red candles. So if this is a buy, this is a sell. If the blue candles didn't trip you off that basically the compass line, that blue line is changing direction, we know it's changing direction because of the color of the candles. If that blue line is proceeding up and we have a nice upward momentum, those candles will be yellow. If the blue line basically pauses and stops going in whatever direction it was going, we'll get a white candle. And if it's coming back down, we'll get a blue candle. So literally you can watch it bounce, go from blue to white to yellow, and then go from yellow to white to blue. So blue is going down, white it hit the ground like a ball compressing, and then green, yellow is going right back up. Like in inverse, you threw it up in the air, it paused, and then blue, it's coming right back down. The purple candle will let you know that a sell is in progress. So just in case you weren't in from here, or even from here, or even from here, it's letting you know that, yeah, things are still going down. You're still good. All right, you see a lower low. Just like with the higher highs, if you see one, expect a bounce. We never know how far it's going to go back up. But if you're in a sell and you see a lower low, take your profit. Especially if I see a pink followed by a white, followed by a yellow. If I wasn't out on this candle, I'm definitely getting out on this candle, because if I'm in a sell, all I want to see are blue or pink candles. And if I'm in a buy, I only want to see yellow or green candles. Blue candles, take profit. Yellow again. All right, let's ride again. Okay, and this repeats and repeats and repeats. So now I'm going to turn on one more thing on our Atlas, because like if you're not doing play-by-play, if you're trying to play a little bit longer, there's something what I call show tops and bottoms. Basically, tops and bottoms, based on whichever band that you are using, shows you where the top of the trend is or the bottom of the trend is. The only catch with this is they do not, this is in the Atlas, this is the only one that does not show up real time. So it may be 3 to 4 candles in before you actually see that, yes, that was the top, but that's because it's trying to calculate and make sure that on the frequency you're on, that is the absolute top. Same thing at the bottom, when it tries to call the bottom, and this is called what we call our relatives bottoms. If we see it at the bottom, you may not see that until you probably get to this candle or even maybe this candle, depending on where you are. But once again, if you're paying attention to the candle colors, you either had this warning, the lower lows show up real time, and the candle turns yellow real time. So you had 3 different warnings at the end, and at every turn that things were turning around and going the other way. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on what I call inside the arbitrage band, going to turn on what we call our deviation. Deviations basically says, where is the edge of my system? Where is it going too fast or too slow to let me know that I should expect a turnaround? Typically, when we go out of bounds, it bounces off the wall of our arbitrage band and basically tries to make its way to its nearest line. And the nearest line here at this point is the black RSI line. So when I bounce off of the edge, I'm looking for my closest RSI line as the next point to test. And then, like we see here, it did test, got a higher high, and it bounced right off, deflected right off, right? The longer, I'm going to basically go into a little bit of physics here, but I'll try not to lose you guys. The longer we stay paused here, the more it allows this black line to level out, which actually allows this fall. So as many candles that we had go across from here to get to there, basically allows this fall to happen because the no momentum here allows for the momentum here. That's how the band, the black line doesn't go out of the system. And as long as it maintains its speed, it rides parallel because the band is falling down and the line are falling down. So we see it fall and they fall together. Right? We see we went out of bounds again. So we're expecting if you were here, you see that HH, you see you're out of bounds, take your profit, don't wait around. Same thing here. You see it going here, you see a lower low, maybe even over here, but you saw that it went red over here, so you shouldn't be in this trade anymore if you were playing the sell. If you were playing the short or the sell, you're seeing all these, as long as you don't see any yellow candles, first yellow candle, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. You don't need to be there. Some people like to ride from black dot to yellow dot, even with it being a few candles late, because they're getting the absolute most out of the trend. I'll let you decide how you want to play the system. That I'm just making sure that you see what you need to see to decide if you want to be in the trade or not. Right? All right. So now I'm going to turn on some people have this one and some people do not. Let's see. Where did it go? Loop. All right. Arbitrage loop is a nice little toy because it tries to predict what's going to happen before it happens. As long as the green line stays above the red line, no matter where it's at, and it stays on top, an uptrend is in progress. The instant it detects the down is coming, it goes red. And it stays red until we cross back over to get our new uptrend. So for the people who have loop, you can literally, if you see loop going red, take your money. The atlas may not even be red. But once again, this system is based 100% on confirmation. So we like to have lots of confirmations that the trades are going in our favor at all times. No need or no reason to eat damage if you don't have to, right? Just like with the other indicators in the system, it's all based on like radio frequency or basically the size. So if you want to be really insensitive to the trend, you would put on the largest one, and now basically you're watching a longer term up and down. So basically, for example, all of this is the arbitrage band, so it's not matching. That's also something you have to realize. If you're using the arbitrage band up here, make sure that you set your loop to the according band. If you don't, you get a lot of misinformation. So if I'm using the arbitrage loop and I'm using the arbitrage band, just like, I'm sorry, I misspoke that. When you're using the arbitrage band, whichever indicator you're currently using, always use the one above it. So if I'm using loop, because I want to see that foreshadow, I want to see it before it happens, so that way I can act before it happens, so I know that I can be in and out of the trade accordingly. But all of this down, all of this red, notice it just kept on falling. And it wasn't until like there was a little bit up right here, but all down, all down, all down. You got the ride up right here because it went green. And then once again, it turned back red. Okay, all down again. And all you're doing is playing it over and over and over again. And the strength of the up and down is basically how much red and green you get. So basically these are very small trends and there's a lot of volume and a lot of momentum that's happening here to say, yeah, this is all sell momentum. You don't want to be here, right? Okay, I'm going to remove loop, and I'm going to add level. Depending on your membership level, some of you guys have access to level and some of you have access to level pro. The difference between level and level pro is basically level says, okay, for all systems that are in demand, we're going to take a summation, basically add them up and tell me yes or no, are all the bands below that green line or above that green line? Being above the green line means there's a positive slope to them, but if we see it underneath, every single one of the bands are all pointing down. So if you have just regular level, you can still trade the trend knowing that every single band at this point are pointing down. This weekend, a new version will be coming out that'll get rid of this upper and lower limit. So that way you won't have to turn that off, but turning the upper and lower limit off helps you better see what's going on with the trend. So pardon me. So to do that, you would just click the gear and click upper and lower limit and turn them off and then hit OK. Right? I'm going to also show you, I'm not sure if you know about this in trading or not, a lot of people have said, Royce, how do I turn off all of those numbers that's behind these indicators? I don't really want them there. Not a problem. You would actually click on the equity itself. So in this case, it's the British pound JPY. Click on the more ellipses right here, and then go to settings. And inside, you would go to status line and click indicator values. You turn that on, you get all your numbers back. You turn that off. Life is pretty, and you get prettier charts. And then if you want to double hide it, you just hit the drop down hide indicator legend. So basically you get to see everything without the clutter of the numbers in your upper left-hand corner, right? For people who don't know and they want to know what these numbers are, you can right click on labels, indicator label name, and it'll actually tell you, okay, this is 3 deviations up, 2 deviations up. It'll let you know what the atlas is saying. It'll literally let you know where the edges of your entire universe is, because we made sure that we named them accordingly so you wouldn't have to guess at what that value is. So some people turn these on, some people turn these off. It all depends on what you want. I personally leave them off, but that's because I know what they are just by looking. All right. So now I'm going to turn on Level Pro and show you what's the difference between Level and Level Pro. With Level, everything is combined into one indicator, and basically all the bands are one indicator, but you do have the ability to actually change it. So you see that this line is orange. That's because it corresponds to the arbitrage band. Each band in the system has a color. So for example, if I wanted to look at the apocalypse band, I turn off the arbitrage band. And in Level Pro, you can either watch one, or you can say, you know what, I want to turn on all of this because I want to see each one of the bands fall as they fall. So middle of the trend, upper trend, and then the biggest trend, I can see all of them. And I see all of them underneath here. I should probably not be in a buy if I see every single one of these guys beneath that line. And we saw that the long-term trend actually turned into a sell all the way over here. And foreshadowing before that, everybody went, the first two went down over here. So you had the ability to exit the system far before it got ugly. Best practices is to use lines that are near each other, because the amount they move is basically relative to the size of the band. So I would never do compass and apocalypse band, because the apocalypse band, you can't see how much it's moving. It just looks like it's hugging the line. So literally it's based on the frequency of The bigger the frequency, the less movement you will see because it takes a whole lot more samples to judge that movement. But the smaller has fewer samples, so that means it can jump a ton. So once again, best practices, if you have access to Level Pro, use its neighbor. So if I'm using the arbitrage band, I would maybe use the compass and the RSI line together to give me good confirmations of what's going on in the system. I see them both underneath right here. You know what? They're both underneath. Got a lower high. He went red. Okay, I'm leaving here. What Pro gives you is that you get the goodbye notice over here as opposed to having to wait for it to be over here to have that notification or confirmation that the trend is no longer in your favor. Right? All right, so now I'm going to get rid of this guy and this guy, and I'm going to add Tick and Tick Pro because those guys have not been talked about recently. Oh, hey. Woohoo. Whoa, wait. All right. So over here, we see Tick. Tick basically measures new higher highs and new lower lows. If it's a brand new lower low, it's up at 100 and it ticks down and gets to 0. And as it ticks down and gets to 0, you actually get what you're looking for, how it's doing, and yeah. Anytime you get a brand new higher high, it starts up there, and as long as it stays up there, life's good. But as it ticks down to 0, you haven't had any new higher highs in like 20 candles. So, because if it makes it from the top all the way down to the bottom, basically you've done nothing for 20 candles. This is a 15-minute chart, so it means for the last 5 hours or so, you've done nothing. So you probably shouldn't be in an up or down. Basically, if it makes it back to 0, wait and then figure out which one it's going to go. It gave you a new higher high and ride. You gave a new lower low. Once again, you want the prevailing trend to keep you in. The moment you see one change over the other, you get out. And for the people who like the longer trades, if I see, that's what Tick Pro is for. So you'll see like this guy, he ticks down, and this is for a bigger band. Let's see, I don't remember if, no, he's not customizable. All right. I'll probably make that change as well. Inside here, so this is a longer term trend. So this is roughly 20 candles. Tick is roughly 20 candles. And this guy, I want to say it's half a year's worth of candles. Oh, sorry, I'm on a 15-minute chart, so I have no idea how many candles. But it's a very long time. I think this guy is paired up with the intermediate band, which is in the middle of the system. So pretty much if you're on the daily, it's basically a half a year's worth of trading on the 15-minute. This is a very long trend. So basically you see a new low started. And as long as it's ticking down, we're ticking down. Both of these are ticking down together. We haven't had any higher highs or lower lows. So basically it's pretty much sideways, not doing anything. And you had a new lower low. So that's foreshadowing. Notice the smaller guy in the back. And this guy is pretty much mirroring the one that's in Tick. So if you have Tick Pro, you can see the long-term scale as well as the short-term all in one chart, all at the same time. So if you're trying to jump back in for a sell, you see it happens here before the longer term says, yes, you have a brand new lower low or lower low in the most recent time. All right. Let's see. I'm going to this guy and this guy. And now I'm going to add RSI. The RSI is like your traditional RSI. It's a triangulated moving average. And I think they do it around the 14 simple or 14 triangulated moving average. Ours is not based on that. Ours is based on the frequency of whichever band you're in. So once again, if I'm using the arbitrage band, I would set this guy to the RSI, so that way I can get the not most sensitive trend. If I want to be on the compass, I can be on the compass as well. But if I'm trying to be as most sensitive, as soon as I detect that the trend is going up at all or going down at all, I have notification. I can see that, okay, he's trying, okay, he's above, got my green triangle, got my green band from Atlas, we're good. He reached the top. I see my higher high. I see that he was overbought. He went outside the green there. And basically, it's okay, I can take my leave because these guys are really good about letting you know, okay, I got here too fast, or I got here too fast. Anytime I poke out the top or poke out the bottom, I do not enter for the opposite direction until I see it actually back um, in the green or back in the red. So as long as it's out, nope, not touching it. As soon as I see it going back in, that's when I will usually touch it for the other direction. Okay, let me see. That guy, and let's see. All right. There is, oh, okay. So TSB, top, sideways, and bottoms is another indicator in our system. Top, sideways, and bottoms does exactly what it says. Anytime the system thinks that the system is in a uptrend, that is a sustainable uptrend, we may remain above this green line. So he's up, and basically, if I'm in this trend, I will let maybe 5 candles go of it being sideways. So as long as it's up here, the trend is strong. Down here, it's sideways, which means it's going parabolic. It's going up and down, but the candles are staying in the same range. So instead of, if he's not gaining any ground, he's going parabolic, I'm probably already taking my profit because I don't want to just hang out. I want my money to always be making me money. If I see him cut under, the uptrend is no longer in progress. And I'm going to actually change this guy from being set to the arbitrage band. And I'm going to set him to RSI, which is what, like I said previously, right? So if I'm watching this guy and I'm trading him, we're in an uptrend, I get in, we're riding. The moment I see him come down, I'll maybe wait 3 to 4 candles. I've taken my profit and I'm gone. And he goes into a sell, okay? That was about 3 or 4 candles, so I still would be in. But as soon as I see he 3 or 4 candles and he's at the neutral again, I'm gone again. Because basically all I want to do is get my money and be gone. So any prolonged stalling at the sideways position, I typically take profit and wait for it to tell me, okay, you're going to get more up or you're going to get more down. And just like previously, since I'm using the arbitrage band, I would have TSB set to the RSI line because it's its closest neighbor. That'll let me know sooner rather than later that the trend is actually ending. Okay. Let's see, I think I got one more. And that is Omega. Omega is basically sort of like, I equate it to like Back to the Future. In Back to the Future, there were these like Presto logs. The Presto logs basically, when you put in the green one, it's hot. In the yellow one, it's even hotter. And once you get to red, basically the train's about to explode and you're about to go nowhere. Basically, a downtrend is definitely in progress. So as long as the line is underneath that red line, we're expecting nothing but down. The down, basically, Omega tries to call where the top of the market is. It tries to pinpoint like, oh, that's the absolute highest, fastest, and slowest, because uptrends happen way slower than downtrends. As soon as it detects an uptrend has happened, it literally puts a little Omega. Let me try to spread this out so you guys can see. Spread this out so you see that little Omega there. It's actually saying, yep, that's the highest, that's the slowest. This trend will go from this huge burst to nothing, and it calls the top. And basically, I would not get into a downtrend until I see it going under and the downtrend is accelerating. And the downtrend, once it's over here, you should see faster deceleration. So basically, literally, we're watching it, and we see a couple of megas down here where we should be bottoming, and we see the bottom. Every time it reaches bottoms, you see it basically skipping off the bottom, saying, I have nowhere to go, right? And that's where you can get some bounces, and then that's if you're playing that aggressively as well. I'm going to go to Arbitrage Slack room and go to Forex, and I'm going to show you how we discern if we should be in the trade and how we basically time if we should be in that trade or not. At the bottom of this chart, this is our windows of opportunity. Each band has a window of opportunity for the time frame that you're going to be playing in. So if I'm playing on the arbitrage band and I'm using the minute chart, this is a 30-minute to a 2-hour trade. If I'm using the arbitrage band on the 15-minute chart, it can be anywhere from 1 day to a 3-day trade. If I'm trying to play bigger trades where it's basically every 10 to 15 days, I'm using the apocalypse band because if it happens fast, then I get basically all the benefit of, a 30, 40, 50% return, or in my case, 200, 300, 500 pip return. And basically I ride it up and I ride it down. If I'm actually in front of the computer, I'll be playing the arbitrage band. If I'm not in front of the computer, I'm playing the apocalypse band and I'm waiting for the apocalypse band to say I should be in the trade or not. And I saw on GJ, but I was playing, I broke one of my own rules Friday. I was playing on the 1-minute chart and I did not see, I think it was, 1 minute I was playing on the 1-minute chart. On the 5-minute chart, it broke back under, right? And when it broke back under, and it's basically showing some of the entries and what I did and what I basically got in and got out, knowing that, it's changing direction, make sure I take my money and don't get burned. But I was playing on the 1-minute chart, which means on the 1-minute chart, I was playing at a half an hour at a time, maybe up to 2 hours, where if you were playing the longer term trend, if you're on the 15-minute chart or even the 5-minute chart, where you're saying, okay, no, we've been short this guy since, the 17th of December, and we're just riding the waves down until that pink line gets back to the bottom of the trend to tell us we should be in, or if we see a smaller trend that's happening in TSB or something to let us know that, okay, the downtrend's over, an uptrend is starting, let's get a little bit of that, but if it goes back under, we're out. So basically the system tries to save you from yourself, but you have to decide which time frame you want to play on, and then whichever time frame that is, make sure you keep your eyes on that time frame and don't basically change it, because if you change it, just make sure that you're cognizant that you did change it and be able to act accordingly. In the bottom of this window of opportunity PDF, we have entry and exit strategies. So for example, if you were using Atlas and you were trying to play it aggressively, those yellow and black dots I was telling you about, you can basically play off of those dots to get all of your entries in and out. If you're playing off the Omega, basically, as soon as you see an Omega on this chart, whether it's down or up, you play in the opposite direction. But once again, that's aggressive, right? So if it's an up, that means Omega equals 1. That means we're topping out at the black dot. Like for example, that would have triggered an Omega alert, or to start playing down, or these at the bottom, and it necessarily didn't go back down. It basically kept on going down. That's why it's considered aggressive, because it's less frequent to always work out in your favor. So know that if you take one of those alerts, you are basically more at risk, right? So if you're set it to, if you have these guys for the bands, candle leaves outside of the band. So once again, I'm going to turn off the apocalypse band one more time. And the aggressive entry to start playing down would have been when he went outside the band here. When outside the band, okay, I'm going to start a short right here. And basically, so that way you get all of it. Likewise, you see it go back out. At the bottom, you start playing along. And basically, once again, all you're trying to do is get back to that black line, the closest mean line, right? He can proceed past, and if he proceeds past, that's great. You get to ride all of it. Also, based on how I play the system, I'm going to take this guy off again, take this guy off again, go back to the RSI to let you know how I equally play. So if I have this guy on, I have my level on, right? And everything's going great. I see this guy go out, I'm taking profit. I see this guy go out, I'm taking profit. I see this guy go red, I'm taking profit, right? If I was in a up, so basically I played it from all the way down here, and as soon as I saw that I got a red triangle or the band was red or the RSI was under, any of those things happening. So basically, I like to see lots of confirmations for getting in, but all it takes is one confirmation for me to get out. I don't even need the confirmations. If I'm playing in and I see it go the opposite direction, or I'm seeing blue candles and I'm supposed to be seeing yellow candles, the trend is not going in my favor, so I better take my money and be gone, right? Okay. The moderate entries are basically off those higher highs and lower lows if you're using Atlas. Crossover on Omega. So once again, if I cross over the red line, it's a buy signal. If I cross under the green line on Omega, it's a sell signal. Let me put that guy back on. So I see him going here. That's a sell signal. The moment I see the blue line go underneath the green, it's a sell signal. The moment I see it go back above the red, it's a buy signal. So I will be able to catch that huge breakout, just making sure that I'm there. Oh. So we can catch our 15, 20 pips, 100 pips, depending on where we are, where we're watching. It takes a lot of eyes to make sure that we get what we want. And basically the community is pretty much strong and very helpful. Let's say, hey, I'm playing this, right? And this is why. Typically, if you're going to be using the system and you're going to be playing something, please provide a screenshot so that way people can see and practice and learn what's making you make your decision, so that way you can basically better help the team to be successful. Okay. And I think that's, oh, I'm sorry, that is not it. Alerts. Inside of all of this, inside of TradingView, no less, if you click on to create a new alert, if you click on the right side, you have conditions. For every single one of the indicators that's on your screen, there are alerts associated. So if you're using the arbitrage band, you can actually say long or long exit all, long exit half. And basically, if it senses that basically those white candles are getting too prevalent, it'll tell you, okay, you probably want to take profit because it's topping. Same thing if you're getting too many white candles on the opposite side and you're short, it's probably bottoming and you probably want to take profit, if not all of your money, off of the table. As you switch between the indicators, Atlas tries to tell you what the relative tops and relative bottoms are. Let's see. ARSI lets you decide if the RSI line that's in the RSI indicator is either bearish or bullish. So basically, it goes across that green line. It becomes bullish. It goes underneath that green line into the red territory. It becomes bearish. Arbitrage level. It lets you know if you have a positive or a negative bias, which means you're getting with the level, level. So yes, it's saying that basically the indicator itself is either above or below that line, which means the bands are either have moving more up or moving more down, and you can actually tell it to alert on that, right? And then there's Omega. It actually tries to let you actually Omega actually is using Fibonacci sequences, so it's actually allowing you to figure out, okay, is this the first Fibonacci, third, or fifth Fibonacci, to let you know where it is, where you're up or down. So you can either play it, okay, the Omega is pointing up, Omega is pointing down, and I'm at 1, or the third, or the fifth. And if you're wondering what that is, the green one is 1, the yellow one is 3, and the bottom one is 5. And basically, it's like a speedometer. 1 is it's moving the slowest. 3, it's moving faster. Red, basically, you're running out of probability. You're running out of space for the fractal to actually form. So you should expect it to bounce. So you can actually make it alert on that as well. And I do believe at this point that that is all for me explaining the indicators. Is there anything that anyone wants me to go over that I haven't explained that's in the system that they would like to use? Okay. Someone was like, no worries, no worries. All right. So there is one more thing I want to show you guys. All right. So inside of here, we've added 4x pairs here. So if you're just interested in 4x, you can just type underscore, and it's literally going to show you that we're watching currently 85 of the 4x pairs. Once again, the system is based on frequency, and the frequency is basically arbitrage band is the smallest band, the apocalypse band is the largest band. With that being said, these yes and no's are saying, okay, is my black line in this lower danger zone? Is my black line in this lower danger zone? So on the smallest band, am I in the lower danger zone? And the biggest band, am I in the lower danger zone? Typically, I like to equate it to sort of like a wrestling match where basically you have a guy, he's bouncing off the ropes. The ropes is basically the edge of the system. So basically, you got to stay in the ring. So he's pulling back, and it's like you're about to sucker punch it with the arbitrage band. So basically, the biggest band is stretched to its extreme. The smallest band is stretched to its extreme. So we're trying to find things that are waiting perfectly right there for us. And that allowed us to, so like the Euro versus the Noki, basically, it's saying that this guy is set to go up soon. So let's go see. So the arbitrage band is saying it's in the lower danger zone. The apocalypse band is saying it's in the lower danger zone. So we're going to go here, EURNOK, type it, and we're going to see that this guy's been falling for quite some time. But notice, you have a buy literally waiting right there, and all you had to do was go look at the signal. Notice the RSI is just heading up. I'm going to turn on the apocalypse band, and you should see that the pink line is also in the danger zone. So this is our beginning. He's on the absolute edge of the system, and we're expecting him to get to, he's currently at 994. We're expecting him to get to 1001, 776 at the very least, because that pink line can't leave the band. If he gets over that, then we're expecting somewhere around 1013, 1014. I always like to play, if I'm going to be entering where it crosses and I'm in the lower danger zone, I like to also exit at the top, because basically I've gone pretty much in a probability, from a probability standpoint rather, I've gone basically what 88% of the trade should be. 88% of the trade, if I go from the bottom of the band to the top of the band, that's where 88% of my candles should land in the lifespan of the up and down trend. So if I get in at the bottom, all I want to do is ride to the top and then take my profit. If it jumps in the meantime, I'm okay with that. As long as we stay underneath the pink line, make no assumptions though. All we're trying to do is get to the pink line. So if I'm in this long sell and I jumped in right here, he made it to the pink line, nothing guarantees that I'm going to cross over into that next frequency or into that next band. Because that is true, I would say, okay, I went from here, he's going back down. I'll take my profit. I'll ride again. It'll either tell me to go in or go out, but I'll see from my RSI, I'm out of bounds, and I'll be able to ride down, right? Oh, that's what's going on. We do have something called arbitrage ban strategy, where it actually tries to suggest where you should enter and where you should leave the trade. And it marks it on your screen so that way you can see and tell you what the price is and tell statistics on all of that. So for like people who like back testing, that's also available at a different level and at a different tier. I was trying to figure out why that open and close, and I'm like, I didn't make that trade. Let's see. What else? Also notice that this guy, remember I said like with Omega, him getting over says we're good and an uptrend should be about to begin. We have a confirmation there, we have a confirmation there, and we see that that guy is green. So of all the 85 pairs, literally I made my decision by just typing in 2 yeses inside this filter to let me know what's going on. If, for example, I also wanted to see basically how the Forex has been performing over the course of a month, I can literally just type Forex and it'll bring up the relative pairs, and anyone that actually has a change that's greater than I think 0.5% or so in either direction, it'll actually bring it up here so we can see that NZD-JPY has performed really well in the month of December so far, while TRY-JPY has suffered horribly. So I like the adage buy low and sell high. So if I'm trying to find longs, I basically want to look at all the ones that have been beaten up and bloodied to see if they are aligned. I add them to my room. I'll add them to the Forex channel that's sitting in Slack, and off to the races we go. Likewise, if I'm looking to go from a long to a short or a sell, I look over here because it's high and I want it to fall. So I want the ones that have moved the furthest to do that. So right now, this guy, I'm actually in a sell right here in this guy, waiting for him to fall. This guy has been falling, and he jumped $5 or $6 last week. We got to ride him all the way up to that 147 level, and then watch him fall right back down. But he started the month at 141, so he's still up quite a bit, over $1 compared to where we are right now. Let's see, what else? So currently we are adding to the system. Insurance is coming very shortly. So any American citizen that's looking to get insurance, that's a part of our group, you'll get a discount or a discount rate if you come in here, and this should be in place, I want to say in less than 30 days. Yep, 24 days until that's all live, and I should be near there too. So yep, both of them going live that same day. Also, we have a mobile app that's coming, and that's 55 days away. The mobile app will actually let you customize your alerts to be where you want them and using whichever indicators that you have access to. So that way, directly from your phone, you'll just get push notifications to get around the fact that some people, even with SMS, are not getting the alerts if you're international and your phone will not accept the SMS. To set up SMS, if you haven't done that before, you would go to SMS alerts and settings and click on here, click on enable, and put in your phone number and your carrier, and then update. And basically now to watch, I'm still implementing this for Forex, but so it's not completely in place yet. But for American stocks, for example, if I wanted to watch Apple, it's literally a one-click button. So I bought some FedEx yesterday. So if I want to make sure I get alerts on this guy, all I do is click that add to Wall Street, and you can have it removed from watch list. So if I go to my Wall Street, everything that I'm watching shows up here, and I can see a very quick, okay, which man is ready for me to go buy and on which time frame. So I can literally see on all my trades who's ready to buy short term and long term. Like Chesapeake Bay is not in a happy spot. And neither is FUZ or FUV for this matter. But you can get a very quick look at what you're watching and a very good bird's eye view of what's going on within the system. Let's see. Uh, every month we have a state of the bands. Matter of fact, one is going to be released later today. I don't think it's been published yet. Nope, it has not. But one is coming later today at some point, and you'll be able to see what's the new and what stocks and stuff that are in there. If you have access to the state of the bands, you'll see it underneath Wall Street and state of the band. If you're playing stocks, basically we're using the weekly chart to pick these guys and basically write what's going on in those sectors, in those regions, so that we think that's going to make it jump or not jump in the next near future. Every day, even if you are not a member and you're just wanting to paper trade, you can, because we have what we call our picks of the day. So every single thing that we play, if you're playing and you're following the stocks, you literally see everything that's out there, and you can go back as far we got 2 months worth of trades here that you can paper trade to see, okay, did this guy go up or this guy go down during the life cycle of what we said it was going to do. Since this is on the daily time frame, we're expecting most of these guys to be about a 15 to 20-day trade. So depending on what it is, we're like, for example, this was yesterday's, and he was expected to go down. Let's see if he actually went down. And what determines that, yes, he did, 50 cents yesterday. But notice, it's no miracle why that happened. He's sitting on the edge, and he's sitting on the edge. All of this stuff, and we have our confirmation down here. And yeah, and he's believing the green line. He tried to touch it, didn't quite make it, going back down. So we try our best to make sure that you're never caught surprise, and whatever you're holding, we're able to do analysis and very quickly and very thoroughly to make sure that you know exactly what's going on in your trade without looking at the news, without looking to other sources. We want to be your source for all the information on what's going on with your trade and with those pairs. We are looking to bring in Forex news into the site. So slowly as we adopt our new data sources, we're getting access to the information that those data sources provide to help make the quality of life and the product even better. So I appreciate you guys listening. And do you guys have any questions before I let you go?
No, I'm all good. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem at all.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. All right.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You talked briefly about the loop. Are you bringing that back?
The loop is in there, but it's not at the $100 level anymore because of some of the automation and stuff that's getting brought on soon. If you were in on our last demo, I'm not sure if everyone here was. Some people were. Within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're bringing on automation. And if you have an account with Forex.com or Owanda, we're still negotiating with Hugo's Way to allow it to automatically trade for you.
Wow.
And at the $100 level, it'll allow you to trade one pair, a high frequency trade, if you per se. And at the $300 level, it'll let you trade 5 pairs. At the $500 level, it'll let you trade 10 pairs. And at the $1,000 level, it'll let you trade 25 pairs simultaneously. And basically, you just see your account grow organically throughout the week, where you actually literally have all you're doing is watching your numbers grow. You're not watching the charts anymore.
Wow. Is it artificial intelligence automation, or is it
it's actually using our algorithms.
Okay.
So basically, as long as everything that I've shown you is true, it makes a decision and does that. But there is AI in the background that helped us develop this.
Wow.
So, okay.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, dang.
Right?
Like that's amazing right there.
I'm not sure if anyone is local to Memphis or not. We are also getting a new floor in Clark Tower. That's where our current offices are. and we will be providing daycare. So it means for anyone who's a stay-at-home mom and you want to just drop off your kid in the daycare area and trade with your friends for a few hours, you can do that. And that is scheduled to open March 1st. Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys and gals, and we will see you at our next demo.